In my junior year in college, I got a call from a student leader, and she said she had a question that she wanted to ask me. So I remember walking into the coffee shop, and you can smell the coffee beans going, and students are doing work. And like every coffee shop, you know there was a little music playing, right? So we sat down, and she asked me the question that changed the trajectory on how I view fear and how I teach fear going forward. She said, "Daryl, will you do the honor of running with me as I run for student body president?" It was at that moment that the music stopped. It was at that moment that I felt the feeling that many of your students feel. Do I lean in or do I retreat? Do your students know how to work through fear in this state of adversity and everything that's going on right now in the world? From that bright-eyed first-year student to that top student leader, all of your students are experiencing some level of fear. When I talk to your students, it's more than just like rah-rah motivation. It's actually grounded in the thousands of fears that I read, the thousands of conversations I had with students, and my time as a student leader. All those experiences shape what I talk to your students about. We know that the challenges in life that are often the scariest, from stepping up as a student leader to dating to having those hard conversations, talking to parents, whatever that is often those experiences that create some of the best opportunities in our lives. In the Fearless to Fearful program, we walk students through a program that not only shows them how to walk through that fear, but to act in spite of that fear. In the ownership phase, students are actually able to name their fears, write down those fears. They start with the statement, "I fear that," and they write, what is that thing that's stopping them from getting to that next level? This allows them to take personal responsibility. In the second piece of the ownership phase, they're able to see not only their fears, but fears from students across the country similar to them, that they're not alone. Step 2, educate. Students get an opportunity to learn what I've learned from reading thousands of fears from students across the country. And not only that, but we give them research-backed ways in order to push through the fears that are stopping them from getting to whatever that next level it is for them. Step 3, empower. In the last stage, students are able to hear stories from students just like them from around the country who actually were able to take the content and actually push through fear in some of the same areas that they're dealing with. They also find out about the secret gift that every student gets, whether that's virtually or in person, the Fearless Band. There's nothing on the outside of it, but on the inside are inscribed the words, "I'm fearless inside," and thousands, over like 55,000 at this point, have received this band and they use it every day. Remember that feeling I felt sitting in that coffee shop when she asked me to run for office? The same feeling I know your students feel on a daily basis when it comes to pushing through things in their life? Well, I decided to actually run for office, and I lost by 19 votes in the closest election in school history. Sitting on my bed that day, I realized that what was supposed to be one of my worst moments was actually one of my greatest opportunities. I learned so much from that. And I learned that at the end of the day, what I want students to know is that failure is not the end, and those fears can ultimately push them to being that leader, to being that person, to being that adult that they wish to become. Your students miss out on so many opportunities, not because they're not smart enough or not good enough, or oftentimes not because they don't have the resources, because oftentimes they let that voice get in their head and they let fear win too often. What I share with them is that it doesn't get any easier as we get older and as we progress. If anything, it gets harder sometimes. So I would like to invite you in helping me to help your students move from fearful to fearless. Meet you at the top.